the war is causing damage to the Indian economy. The rupee fell even further. It is very strange to ask people to not put money into gold. We weren't asked to do this when Kargil happened or Palakot happened, Pahalgam happened. And then you announce that I am off to a foreign tour for 7 countries. We are dampening the demand of one of the few sectors that is going up. When the dirt hits the ceiling, then start putting blame on everybody. The accountability of the state has just about disappeared. China was so much better off because China had built 6 months and 8 months of reserves.
Hello and welcome to In Context. I'm Charu Kartikeya. This video is about the appeal for austerity made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the 10th of May 2026. Helping me to decode what the Prime Minister's statements mean is noted economist and public policy expert Dr. Amir Ullah Khan. He joined the conversation from Hyderabad. Let's start with recalling what the Prime Minister said.
हमें पेट्रोल डीजल का उपयोग कम करना होगा। हम मेट्रो का ही उपयोग करेंगे। कार पूल करने का प्रयास करें। अगर हमें कहीं सामान भेजना हो, रेलवे की सर्विसेज से भेजें। इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल का ज्यादा से ज्यादा उपयोग करें। वर्क फ्रॉम होम, ऑनलाइन कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग, वर्चुअल मीटिंग्स, इनको हमें फिर से प्राथमिकता देनी है। कम से कम 1 साल के लिए हमें विदेशों में जाने की बातों को टालना चाहिए। साल भर तक हम सोने के गहने नहीं खरीदेंगे। खेतों में डीजल पंप की जगह सोलर पंप का उपयोग करने का जोर देना होगा। स्थानीय चीजें खरीदें। नए विदेशी प्रोडक्ट हमें नहीं खरीदने चाहिए कि हम केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर की खपत 25%, 30%, 40%, 50% उसको घटाए, आधी कर दे। अगर हम तेल खाना कम करें ना, तो भी वो देशभक्ति का बहुत बड़ा काम है।
And now let us break that speech down. Here we go.
Amir, so when I first heard the Prime Minister's statements and appeals that he made to the general public, my first thoughts were of alarm. Oh my God, this is big, and this sounds like something that Lal Bahadur Shastri might have said when he asked the nation to skip a meal, or in those tumultuous years in 1991 when India was forced to mortgage its gold. So, those thoughts, whatever I've learned in financial history of economic history of the country, those thoughts came to my mind. Those were my first reactions. And this is a state of alarm. It looks like what the Prime Minister is trying to say is that the economy is in deep distress already. But those were my thoughts. As an expert, as an economist, as a public policy expert, what were your first thoughts when you heard the Prime Minister's statement and the appeals?
Charu. So, when the Prime Minister said it, and he said it right in my neighborhood, I stay a stone's throw from where he was making this speech. It was interesting to see that he was making these observations in the context, in the geography, and in his timings. The speech was pretty straightforward. It very candidly acknowledged the fact that we have problems on our hand. It acknowledged also that we are in some sort of a corner as far as fuel is concerned, and the war is causing damage to the Indian economy, and therefore he very candidly and very persuasively spoke about what citizens' rights, citizens' duties are in such a situation. And therefore, people did carry it everywhere, people have taken it seriously and said that here is the Prime Minister who's asking us to perform our duty as a citizen, to stop buying gold, to postpone our international travel, and work from home. You know, makes great sense. He also spoke about the COVID days, and he said that let's go back to COVID days. Uh, appealing to people's recent memory that they know that this was some kind of tragedy that we had overcome, and that we have a similar problem and we are going to fight it together. So that was what was the context. Now, the impact and the reaction.
If you found Dr. Khan's views interesting so far, then please stay tuned because much more is on the way. Do like and share this video and subscribe to In Context.
See, you see the impact you could see in today's stock market. Uh, you saw that the stock market, which has been collapsing by the day for the last so many months, fell again. As if there was something more to fall. The stock market has been one of the worst performing stock markets across the world, and it fell even further. Now, did it fall because of the Prime Minister's statements? There'll be some who will say it did, but the timing is pretty consequential. The other thing that happened was that the rupee fell even further, and the rupee has been one of the worst performing currencies in the world over the last few months and years. Now, we must acknowledge the fact, and the Prime Minister did a very brave acknowledgement of the fact that we have a crumbling rupee. We have serious problems as far as the current account deficit is concerned, and that we are at the receiving end of a war that is raging not too far away from our borders. Uh, now, all that is true. All that is a matter of fact. Everybody knows that. Now, when there is such a situation, then uh, is the solution, therefore, appealing to people's sense of patriotism in such times? We have seen this happen several times. The China war in 1962, then the Pakistan war, Bangladesh war. People gave up gold. People became austere. So there is a historical significance. Now, that is where the problems start. Firstly, those were very serious wars that were being waged against India. And that is when people were asked to forego their purchases, to forego their travel. Therefore, the question that begs itself is, are we in that kind of a situation? We weren't asked to do this when Kargil happened or Palakot happened, Pahalgam happened, which was war. But here there is a war that is going on between some country versus some country, and therefore is that so serious that we have to start thinking of strict austerity measures. The second question that comes up is that why is this such a strong emphasis on gold? Why gold? And then you realize that because gold constitutes the second largest import that India makes. It's at least more than 10%, contributes to at least 10% of the current account deficit, which is high and going higher by the day. And it is something that we import almost completely. There is no make in India as far as gold is concerned. However, the problem with gold is that in times of distress, in times of uncertainty, in times of war, the only investment that is considered safe to make is gold. You don't put money into stocks. You don't put money into land. You don't put money into government securities when war is going on. There, people then prefer gold. And that is why it sounded very strange. It is very strange to ask people to not put money into gold when the natural tendency and the safe tendency is, and the safest haven is gold.
If you found Dr. Khan's views interesting so far, then please stay tuned because much more is on the way. Do like and share this video and subscribe to In Context.
So that was one thing that struck people as strange and given the context. The second was that the plea said that avoid foreign travel. You know, now you will see that the immediate impact of that is that travel firms, hospitality firms start falling on their stock indices. You are by my making a statement like that, what we are doing is we are dampening the demand of one of the few sectors that is going up in the economy. And therefore, that was another surprising thing to do, because when the prime minister of the country says something like that, and this prime minister, who a lot of people take very seriously, says something like that, then it does impact the economy in various ways.
Yeah.
The third was fuel. That was a responsible statement to make. We have a fuel crisis. Fuel prices are going up. The more we save on fuel, the more we do take all steps that will reduce the consumption of fuel, the better it is for all of us, whether it is through saving money, saving foreign exchange, or climate change. I mean, so in one thing, it covers up everything. However, the problem is that when you say something like that, and then you announce that I am off to a foreign tour for 7 countries, you come into the procession, into the rally with 75 gas guzzling cars following you, and helicopters and so on, then it doesn't sound right. Then it doesn't seem right. It should have been accompanied by a pledge that the government is going to reduce consumption of fuel. The head of the state is going to reduce consumption of fuel, and therefore is asking you. So in that sense, it was these austerity measures were kind of striking and surprising. As I said right away, that they were made acknowledging the responsibility, the situation that exists today, and the situation is indeed a dire situation.
Well, that was part one of the interview. Dr. Khan had many more thought provoking things to say on the Prime Minister's appeal. But for that, stay tuned for part two. Do like and share this video and subscribe to In Context.